invitation of a friend home again, knowing the way. Flying in a dream through the desert sky. Hope that has come alive, and she knows it is real. There is sunshine lighting the way to a new time, a destination of her own, not alone on this new day. Dream through the desert sky, waking with the hope that has come alive, and she knows it is real. There is sunshine lighting the way to a new time, a destination of her own. This new day, it's a new day. Rise up and sing a song, smile and laugh your cares away. Open your heart to love and live your dreams today. Rise up and sing a song, sing a song. Cares away. Open your heart, open your mind, your dreams, your cares. So sing a song today. Rise up and sing. Got to sing a song. Smile and laugh. Write it down. Right now. Open your heart and song and smile out today. Sing a song today. Feel the love today. It's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to the 2013 Annual Convocation. That was Pacific Standard Time, conducted by the truly amazing Christine Gooder. PSD has achieved the triple crown in college vocal jazz. Downbeat Magazine, the premier U.S. jazz publication, has named PSD the best college vocal jazz group in the U.S. for the third year in a row. PSD has been the best vocal jazz group in the U.S. during the very 3 years that were the worst budget years in the history of the campus. Like PSD, the campus has continued excellence despite challenges. My theme this morning is the pride that we can take in our many achievements despite the challenges that we have faced. I am honored to serve as your interim provost. I am committed to CSULB and the excellence that it represents. I'm committed in more than one way. As of today, I can say that all 3 of my daughters have chosen CSULB. All had other options for college. One has graduated, one remains in progress, and the third begins today. The third one began her college search with an anywhere but Long Beach plan, because that's where Dad works. However, after comparing her choices, which included UCs and prestigious private schools with a lot of financial aid, by the way, she chose Long Beach. That may be the highest compliment that I can offer this campus. Now I have the honor to acknowledge some outstanding people who play crucial roles. Our vice presidents bring experience, talent, and dedication. Please stand when your name is called, but I ask the audience to hold your applause until all have been introduced. Interim Vice President of Student Services, Mary Ann Takamoto. Vice President for Administration and Finance, Mary Stevens. And Vice President of I believe Andrea Taylor's not here today because she's moving her son into college where he is. Please join me in a round of applause. Academic Affairs Senior Staff, please stand when your name is called. Audience, please hold your applause. Lynn Mahoney, Interim Vice Provost and Dean of Undergraduate Studies, who has provided spectacular leadership for our student success initiatives. Cecile Lindsay, who's ably leading our graduate programs as Vice Provost and Dean of Graduate Studies. Holly Harbinger, Associate Vice President, ably leading Faculty Affairs. Andrew Zed Mason, ably leading grants and contracts, is away today. Jeet Joshi is ably leading 2 programs for us as Associate Vice President for International Education and also Dean of Continuing and Professional Education. Roman Cochin, also ably leading 2 offices. We like to double up the workload as Associate Vice President for Academic Technology and Dean of the University Library. Marianne Hatta, Assistant Vice President, I think she's back today, I will always be grateful to her for her skillful management during our difficult budget years. Mike Blasey, Interim Director of Academic Facilities. Van Novak, Assistant Vice President for Institutional Research and Assessment, also serving as Interim Director of Strategic Planning. We welcome as new Neil Iacono, Academic Employment Relations Manager, and a couple of other key members of our team, Elizabeth Martin and Deanna Bennett. Please join me in recognizing these campus leaders. We are fortunate to have a group of talented and dedicated deans. Again, please hold your applause. College of the Art, Chris Miles. College of Business Administration, Michael Solt. College of Education, Marquita Grenos-Shire. College of Engineering, Forzan Golshani. College of Health and Human Services, Ken Miller. College of Liberal Arts, David Wallace. College of Natural Science and Mathematics. Please give them a round of applause. If there are department chairs in the room, would they please stand? I would also like to recognize our dedicated department chairs. Please join me in a round of applause. These people do one of the most difficult and important jobs on our campus. We have outstanding student government leaders. Would John Haberstroh, re-elected President of Associated Students, and other ASI executives please stand for a round of applause. I ask a few other campus leaders to stand. George Redden, Chief Steward of the State Employees Trade Council. Dwan Jackson, Chief Steward of the Academic Professionals of California. Kathy Bazarian, CSU Alumni Association President. Berta Hansen, Chair of Staff Council. Dan O'Connor, Chair of the Academic Senate. We'll hear from him later. Terry Yamada, President of the California Faculty Association. And Janine Lecausi, President of the California State University Employees Union. On behalf of the university, I offer thanks to each of you for your commitment to the success of our students and our campus. Please join me in recognizing these campus leaders. Now, one of the very best introductions. May I ask our 34 outstanding new faculty to stand. This is an exceptional group who will be highly effective with our diverse students. These scholars and creative artists will have a positive and lasting impact on our campus. I met them on Monday, and boy, was I impressed. I'm also delighted to welcome 57 Chinese visitors who are here from Hubei University of Technology and Hubei Education Bureau. There they are. With the departure of King Alexander, we are very fortunate to have an experienced leader. Don Parr trained as a clarinetist and composer. He has served as music department chair at 2 universities, as dean of our outstanding College of the Arts, as provost during our most difficult budget years, and now as our president. He is widely regarded as thoughtful, principled, compassionate, and effective. I have learned a great deal by association. However, to me, the highlight of his career may be that he has performed the Mozart Clarinet Trio, one of the most beautiful pieces of chamber music ever written. I'm not saying it was all downhill after that, but I sure wish I had that on my resume. Please join me in welcoming President Don Parr, exceptional leader.
Greetings and welcome to everyone. 19 years ago, this campus made a commitment to recruit the best and brightest of the state's high school scholars to California State University, Long Beach, to be part of the Distinguished President's Scholars Program. This program continues to attract the state's most outstanding and talented and diverse student scholars to Cal State Long Beach. As we anticipate the 20th anniversary of our Presidential Scholars Program next year, we are proud that there have been a total of 1,084 President's Scholarships awarded to 942 high school valedictorians and 142 National Merit Scholars. The outstanding education our President's Scholars receive from our exceptional faculty and our caring staff is second to none and positions them to successfully compete for the top graduate professional schools across the nation, right here at Cal State Long Beach, or to enter directly the world of work. Presidential Scholars' service to the Academy, the community, and their classmates is a program hallmark. Each year, President's Scholars contribute 5,000 hours of community and campus service. For the second straight year, the Presidential Scholars team was a top fundraiser for the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life event held at Cal State Long Beach. Next week, 25 new President's Scholars selected from an extremely competitive pool of over 700 applicants will begin their study here. They are with us here today. I am delighted to introduce to you the incoming President's Scholars class of 2013. Will you please stand and be recognized? We're also pleased that their parents and family members are with us here today, who have supported and nurtured these top scholars. Parents, friends, will you please stand and be recognized? Since 1995, this program and scholars have benefited greatly from the generous support of a wide range of individuals and organizations. I am grateful to our Alumni Association, the President's Associates, individual donors, and the Division of Student Services who continue to provide invaluable support to the President's Scholars Program. Congratulations and welcome, students. I wish each of you success at the beach.
Now, we all know that we have astonishingly good student government on our campus, and I will be delighted to introduce to you our student leader, a dedicated and scholarly young man. He's an expert on early Greece. He's just returned from a grand European tour this summer. And interestingly, he's the author of a paper with the intriguing title, The Greeks and Their Wine. You didn't know I knew this, did you? Hellenic Identities in the 5th Century BC. I think I know what he was doing in Europe this summer. I give you a gentleman, a scholar, and a leader, John Haberstroh.
Thank you for that very secretive information gathering introduction. So, good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank the president and the provost for giving me the opportunity to address everyone here at Convocation. If I'm correct, I believe that I'm the first ASI president to be invited to do so, and I am greatly honored. I would like to begin with a brief comment on shared governance. It is a great privilege that we, the students, attend a university that is ardently committed to the principles of shared governance. Students are the reason why this institution exists, and it is essential that the voices of students be heard in the decisions that affect their experience here at CSULB. With a student population of nearly 36,000, the CSULB student body surpasses the populations of Los Alamitos and Seal Beach combined. In the wake of Prop 30, it is clear that the students of CSULB, as well as the entire CSU system, are a force to be reckoned with. We, the students, too, are committed to the shared governance of this campus and very much look forward to the coming academic year. The associated students exist to serve the needs and desires of students through the operation of our facilities, the utilization of our services, and participation in our programs. The Associated Students offers a variety of opportunities for students to become engaged with the entire campus community. While the in-class academic lives of students takes precedent in the university context, the out-of-class experience is invaluable to the formation of well-rounded individuals who know the responsibilities of being informed world citizens. It is the duty of the associated students to spread awareness of all the facilities, services, and programs which we provide. As elected and appointed officers of the students, we have an ethical imperative to serve and represent the students with urgency, professionalism, and respect. Over the past year, ASI has enacted some reforms to improve the efficiency, productivity, and transparency of student government. This past Wednesday, we unveiled what we call the new standard to our officers at our summer retreat. That is, a new standard of accountability, communication, and values for student government. We hope to increase with the new standard student involvement through the reinvigoration of student leaders who will seek a bottom-up approach in the representation of students. And I'd like to take this moment to publicly recognize and thank President Parra and the Vice Presidents for joining us on our retreat this past week to connect with our student leaders. A good time was had by all, and important personal relationships were established. We thank you for your continued support of the students. Over the past year, ASI has been moving away from being a self-serving clique, loyal unto itself, and with the reforms of last year and this new vision, ASI will continue striving to actively seek the opinions, concerns, and participation of all CSULB students. And I would like to take also a moment to recognize some of the elected and appointed officers that we have in the audience today. So would you please stand and be recognized for getting here early in the morning on the first Friday before classes. This academic year is one of change. Change is often a mixed bag, one full of surprises and uncertainties. Change, like most things, is the product of choices. Some choices we make, and some choices are made for us. Either way, change is upon us here at CSULB. It is essential that we embrace this change and not fight it so as to create disharmony. While it is true that in the past few months, two major pillars of leadership for the university, F. King Alexander and Douglas Robinson, have left, CSULB remains in confident and capable hands. As is famously noted, an object in motion tends to stay in motion, and an object at rest tends to stay at rest. Well, CSULB is certainly not an institution that has any plans of resting on its laurels. In the recent past, CSULB has made great strides in the advancement of its academic programs, some of which are among the best in the West. CSULB is also a fine example of how diversity and academia go hand in hand. CSULB is one of the most highly sought after universities in the nation, and that's for good reason, because we're the beach. Thank you so much, everyone, and I wish you all the best in the coming academic year. Go Beach.
Now I'm delighted to introduce to you the leader of the faculty, an expert on the philosophy of John Dewey, an accomplished soccer coach, recovered recently from basketball injuries, someone who has proven himself to be a skilled and effective leader with a broad vision of the university in the 21st century. I'm delighted to introduce to you Professor Dan O'Connor, Chair of the Academic Senate.
Good morning. Thank you. I want to thank President Parra and Provost Dowell for inviting me to share some thoughts about the upcoming academic year. I'm invited to speak because of my role as the chair of the Academic Senate. And as such, I would like to recognize the members of the Academic Senate who are with us this morning. Would you please rise? And thank you. Thank you for your service. Now, for the rest of the audience, if you happen to find my remarks this morning off-putting or distasteful, please take it up with the individuals who just were standing. If you happen to like what I have to say, I'll be available in the lobby after the ceremony. CSULB is different from other universities in that our Senate is an academic Senate that includes representatives from all four constituent bodies of the university: the students, the staff, the faculty, and the administration, as opposed to more typical Senates that include only faculty representatives. It's this inclusive and shared governance process that is the hallmark of our university. And I'm looking forward to continuing in my capacity as chair to ensure that we address all the issues that come before us in a collegial and productive manner. This year will be an unusual year for our university. 4 of the top 6 administrative positions in the university are currently held by individuals on an interim status. Now, some might consider this a cause for uncertainty and trepidation, but I can assure you that we are in very good hands. All of the interim administrators have a wealth of experience with and understanding of the positions into which they have been promoted, and of our university more broadly. President Parra and Provost Dowell combined have over 70 years of experience on this campus. They can divide that up however they wish. No one on this campus will be sitting on his or her hands this year in a wait and see what happens next year mode. We have much work ahead of us. This morning, I will talk about 2 aspects of that work. I want first to speak about the importance of praising public education. Secondly, I'll address what I perceive to be a revolutionary opportunity to improve higher education, and what simultaneously may be a potential challenge and even a threat to public higher education, namely the impact of digital technology on how we teach. In my remarks last year, I asked each of you to stand up for public education. We were confronting a politically uncertain time with potentially dramatic consequences for the economic sustainability of our and other higher education institutions throughout the state. Well, you did it. You talked with each other, your neighbors, family, and friends. You walked precincts, hosted gatherings, and sponsored candidates and policies who supported public education. The voters of California approved Proposition 30, which was a necessary, albeit insufficient, step towards revitalizing state funding of higher education in California. But even more important than the fiscal implications following last November's ballot is the principled statements made by Californians. They are willing to support higher education. They are, in fact, not allergic to taxes, as long as the taxes are directly tied to goals and values that they share. They recognize, in a way that apparently escapes far too many of our elected officials, that higher education is a sound investment in the future of our youth, our state, and our nation. They recognize that during this next academic year, the CSU will educate nearly 500,000 Californians across 23 campuses, and that this is a public good. They recognize that today's college students are our best hope to meet the challenges we will confront as a community, state, nation, and more globally. With this recognition and with this investment by our fellow citizens comes a tremendous responsibility. We must rise to the challenge before us. We must educate this generation to meet the challenges of many generations to come. We must rise to the expectations placed upon us by the community and by the students themselves and their parents, I might add. Nowhere are the opportunities and challenges we face more evident than in the area of digital technology. This year, our campus will engage in several exciting and necessary initiatives that will promote student learning through the use of digital technologies. Now, using technology in education is not a revolutionary change in itself. We have been using technology in education for millennia, from pencils, pens, paper, to paintbrushes, test tubes, and Bunsen burners. But digital technology opens avenues that we are just beginning to explore and whose impact on student learning we are just beginning to appreciate. Our university must engage in this exploration of using digital technology to improve both student learning and student services, and we have already begun. Our students, who are digital natives, expect it, and the demands of the day are such that digital literacy has become an imperative student learning outcome across our university curricula. We are doing this by exploring the use of digital technology in flipping classrooms, integrating digital media into our pedagogy, and having students demonstrate their digital literacy in their projects, their labs, and their essays. Whereas 5 years ago, many of us in the faculty would have asked our students at the beginning of class to please turn off their phones and close their laptops, today we ask them to use their phones and open their laptops to share resources, explore ideas, complete group projects, and create lesson plans. Given that over the course of the next year, Los Angeles Unified School District plans to give every school child an iPod as a learning tool, we may want to explore how to employ them and other technologies in our own classes. Again, the students will expect nothing less. We will have an ongoing conversation this year about improving learning through technology at CSULB. We will do so always with the understanding that learning is the key, not the technology itself. We will be careful as possible to be clear about what we are talking about and what we mean when we talk about technology. And most importantly, we will remember always that technology does not teach. Faculty members teach. We are well positioned on this campus for facing the possibilities and challenges of the new digital technologies by the fact that we have a president, a provost, a senate chair, and the president of the faculty union, all of whom are on the same page with respect to the importance of exploring technology on this campus. We will move forward with caution, but steadfastly. We live in a time where technology is pervading all aspects of our lives, sometimes without our knowledge. In the news all summer long, we've found stories about government high-tech surveillance of phone records, emails, texts, tweets, you name it. These are attempts to uncover secrets by employing the most advanced technologies available. Well, over the course of the summer and the last few weeks, I decided to engage in some surveillance of my own. And I did it using a very primitive form of technology. I got off my butt, left my office, and walked around campus and talked to people without using my phone. I'm not kidding. You can do this. You can do this. Hashtag face-to-face. And here's some of the secrets that I learned. I stopped by a staff workshop organized by Tom Enders and his staff that introduced an electronic advising system that will revolutionize how we advise students by employing the very latest technologies. These technologies will allow advisors to track student progress, identify and avoid potential pitfalls, and help those students achieve majors and courses that will best serve their goals. I stopped by 2 faculty workshops organized by Leslie Kennedy of Academic Technology Services and Terry Yamada, our CFA president, that combined hosted approximately 80 faculty members over the course of this summer. They came in during the summer to learn about how to use digital technologies to enhance their teaching practice. I spoke with students enrolled in summer classes, many of whom were simultaneously taking regular classes taught in our classrooms and other classes that were offered online. CCPE supported and trained 25 faculty members this summer to convert their classes to online classes, and they plan to double that number next year. One of the students with whom I spoke told me that because of her family and work responsibilities, the online option this summer was the only way that she could take that course this summer. And because of it, she'll be able to graduate on time next spring. I spoke with student athletes who get up and were training at 7 a.m. in the morning in order to best prepare themselves for the seasons that remain ahead. I spoke with students, designers, faculty, and facility staff working on the AS Corridor project designed by our own design students to make it a more habitable student study space. And I encourage you to come by the AS Corridor. Do it next week. Come by the AS Corridor. It's really fantastic to see how students envision study spaces of the future. I spoke to faculty in the sciences and engineering who are using new technologies in their research and their teaching, ever mindful of the connection between disciplinary expertise and excellence in teaching. I spoke with future teacher candidates practicing their craft by serving as camp instructors at the Young Scientists Camp on campus. And just last week, I encountered two students who were standing pretty much in the middle of campus, trying to figure out where they were, kind of looking around. When I offered to help them and find their destination, one of them turned to me and she said, oh, we aren't lost. We don't know where we are, but we're not lost. It's pretty deep, I thought. They were not lost because they were exactly where they wanted to be, and that is here at the beach. My surveillance of our campus revealed dedicated students, staff, faculty, and administrators preparing for what will be a great year at this university. Surrounded by all of this technology, I encourage all of us to take some time to walk and talk to each other, to face each other, to be mindful of the moment in which we find ourselves. #inspiration. The role of the Academic Senate is to provide a civil and collegial space for considered debate that allows students, faculty, administration, and staff to build consensus about how to fulfill our mission as a public institution. This is going to be an exciting and challenging year. With our commitment to working together and to sharing the good word about public higher education, we'll make it a great year for this university. Let's get to work. Thank you.
Okay, folks, you heard it first here. The next big thing in technology is face-to-face communication supported by shoe leather infrastructure. That's great. Okay, the state of the university. I am delighted to let you know that we have a stable budget outlook for the first time in several years. Prop 30 was affirmed by the voters. The governor backfilled last year's fee reduction, and he provided a much-needed 5% boost. We won an additional $1.6 million, by the way, thanks to a lot of hard work in May in a competitive process conducted by our Chancellor's Office. Our augmented student excellence fee will bring much-needed support for technology that touches students. And although our losses have not been fully restored, our budget outlook is stable and modestly improving. And I'm delighted to report that we will be providing increased funding to colleges and departments this year, and I will mention several specific augmentations as I continue. And although we do not know for certain, it is likely that collective bargaining negotiations will bring a much-needed modest pay rise for faculty and staff this year for the first time in several. Despite 3 very difficult budget years, we have much to be proud of. Accomplishments of the whole university, of our students, and of our faculty. Let's start with the campus. We can be proud that CSULB is increasingly being recognized for excellence. U.S. News & World Report ranks us 4th best in the Western United States. Princeton Review and Kiplinger's rate us as best values. Victory Media calls us a top military-friendly school, and Parents, Security Magazine says we are the 7th most secure campus in the United States. We had the 5th largest number of applications from first-time freshmen among all 4,000 or so U.S. universities. That's amazing. Diverse Issues in Higher Education ranks us highly on degrees to minority students and master's degrees to Hispanics. And we graduate our students with nearly the least loan debt of any university in the United States. That is an unbelievable roster of accomplishments as an institution. Now our students. We are proud of our diverse, talented, and determined students. Some, like my daughters, chose us over more prestigious UCs and privates. For some, we are their only affordable local opportunity. All of them arrive trusting us to provide a valuable education that can lead toward a better life, a career, appreciation of art, science, societies, and cultures. We are proud of our remarkable diversity. We are designated as both Hispanic and Asian and Pacific Islander serving. We host an annual Native American powwow. We host graduation celebrations for all of those groups, plus African Americans, Filipinos, and a lavender celebration. We have 2,700 international students. Our diversity adds tremendous richness to our environment, and this is part of what makes Long Beach special. We saw very difficult budgets in the past 3 years. The percentage of our students in this period who received Pell Grants for financial need increased significantly due to the difficult economy. Our entering students became even more diverse, reflecting our region. Our entering student SAT scores remained about level. And yet, last year, we awarded 8,600 degrees, and that's about, get this, 2,300 degrees more, that's 38% more, compared to a decade ago when our enrollment was only 3% smaller. That's amazing. Our freshman graduation rate has risen 10% in 5 years and nearly 20% in a decade. That's amazing. Sure. So we can be justly proud of our most important result, graduates with highly valued degrees, our 280,000 alumni. Alumni are our pride and joy. Many continue to support CSULB, and for this we are truly grateful. These accomplishments resulted from faculty and staff and administrators working together to support students, and we should be very proud of ourselves for these accomplishments. Student distinctions. Our students have brought us many distinctions this year, and I'm going to name just a few. Graphic design students Amanda Madden, Anthony Martinez, and Ali Wong won third place in Disney's Imaginations Design Competition for their concept Disney's Holmby Martin Railway, where guests travel back in time through the early 1900s. The CSULB Campus Couture Fashion Show, the largest West Coast fashion event planned and executed by students, marked its silver anniversary with 55 student designers. The College of Business students brought home prizes from the 49th International Collegiate Business Strategy Competition. Model United Nations students Andrew Jackman and John Oney earned Outstanding Delegate Awards at the Bonn International Conference. Our Minority Americans in Engineering and Science student chapter won first place in the highly competitive academic decathlon and was named Chapter of the Year. College of Education's Kashima Samuels traveled to Ghana, West Africa, where she participated in service learning, partnering with rural schools. The Science Education Department students provided a science camp for homeless youth. 18 marketing students brought home 13 awards from the International Collegiate Conference. Our chamber choir sang with the Rolling Stones and performed for Eric Whitaker's TED Talk, Technology, Education, and Design Conference, so very prestigious. 7 fashion merchandising students had designs included in the International Textile and Apparel Conference. Notice how many times these are international recognitions. Alumni Lauren Brooks and Curtis Morgan received German Consulate Awards to teach German at the University of New Mexico. Engineering student Jeremy Bonifacio was selected as MedTrans Outstanding Student of the Year. Julia Minen led our Society of Physics students to be recognized as Outstanding Chapter by the American Institute of Physics. Rocio Rodriguez presented her study on algebra thinking at the 4th International Classroom Teacher Research for All Students Conference in China. Students of theater arts professor Ann Dizamura traveled to Tanzania in a service learning course in collaboration with Karamu International Help Foundation. Sabrina Riviera was selected by the American Society of Civil Engineers as a finalist for the New Faces of Civil Engineering College Edition. Last year, an estimated 3,500 CSULB students in service learning courses provided nearly 80,000 hours of service at 300 locations throughout our community. Please join me in a round of applause for these student accomplishments and for many others that I do not have time to list. There will be a longer listing in our annual report. The faculty is the core of any university. Ours is a remarkable and dedicated faculty committed to excellence and to graduating students with high-value degrees. Each tenure track hire we make is a very significant investment for the university. I am pleased to report to you that I have approved a significant increase in the number of tenure track hires authorized to search this year for appointment in fall 14. Our faculty has earned many honors and distinctions. At the beginning of the morning, you saw in our slideshow 9 faculty members recognized last spring at our awards ceremony for outstanding achievement in scholarly and creative work, community service, and leadership. And it would take all day to provide even a partial listing of additional faculty honors and awards earned in the past year, but I am pleased to mention just a few as illustrative. Dance professor Lauren Johnson served as artistic advisor to the Los Angeles Music Center's festival, L.A. Wright, Stravinsky Innovation and Dance for the 10th anniversary of the Gloria Kaufman Presents Dance. Chemistry and biochemistry professor Kasia Selinsky received a 4-year grant from the National Institute of Health to support research on collagen and cancer. Professors Gail Farmer and Barbara White and Theodora Papachristou, with support from the Archstone Foundation, have launched a plan for a Long Beach active living village for older adults. Marketing professor Hugh Nguyen published an article with the interesting title, The Dark Side of Development in Vietnam, Lessons from the Killing of the Thi Vai River, in the prestigious Journal of Macro Marketing. Asian and American Studies professor Masoko Douglas received the American Association of Teachers of Japanese Award for Excellence in Innovative Teaching, Advocacy, and Scholarship. Advanced Studies in Education and Counseling professor Brandon Gamble served as president of the California Association of School Psychologists. The College of Engineering opened its high-performance computer laboratory with support from the Air Force Research Lab at Edwards Air Force Base. Professors Tom Bloomquist and Maria Vieira co-authored Eye of the Storm, Directing for Film, Television, and Emerging Media. Finance professor Cindy Chen published original research in the prestigious International Review of Financial Analysis. Science Education Department Chair Laura Henriquez, who operates our Young Scientists Camp, was featured on Southern California Public Radio. Anthropology professor Carl Lippo was featured in a National Geographic special about the statues of Rapa Nui, Easter Island. The College of Engineering is a leader in encouraging women to study engineering with the My Daughter is an Engineer and Engineering Girls It Takes a Village programs. Faculty members Rob Freer, Bill Reichenbach, and Christopher Still performed on the soundtrack of the blockbuster movie White House Down. Information Systems professor Hongyu Chen published original research in the prestigious Information Systems Research. Marine biology professor Chris Lowe has appeared again on the Discovery Channel with his new robotic research vessel. Communicative Disorders professor Betty McKicken was profiled in The Leader, a publication of the American Speech Language Hearing Association. Italian professor Clorinda Donato received the Education Award from the Western Foundation of the Sons of Italy. The College of Engineering earned Supplier of the Year for exceptional performance from Boeing Corporation. Teacher education professor Josnia Patniak published Father Involvement in Young Children's Lives, a Global Analysis. Sounds very interesting. Theater arts professor David Jocks, lighting for the Chicago Opera Theater production of Philip Glass's The Fall of the House of Usher, was given a glowing review in the Chicago Tribune. Management professor Dana McDaniel Sumter published Mindfully Negotiating a Career with a Heart, something we all probably should read, in the prestigious Organizational Dynamics. Family and Consumer Sciences professor Peter Crescia led the new Emergency Medical Technician program through its first year in partnership with CCPE. Liberal Studies professor Nat Hansuvada published Culturally Competent School Leaders in Educational Forum. Communication professor Reagan Fox was awarded the Lila Heston Award for Outstanding Scholarship. Kinesiology professor Barry LeVay successfully once again operated Camp Nugget, an outstanding adaptive PE program for children ages 5 to 12 with disabilities. And Advanced Studies in Education Counseling professor Angela Locke has been appointed to the editorial board of the prestigious Journal for the College Student Development. Please join me in a round of applause for these faculty accomplishments. For the deans who are counting, the answer is 4. And there'll be a much longer listing in the annual report that will be available in a few days. Research, scholarly, and creative activities. RISCA, as we call it. Basic research pushes back the frontiers of knowledge. Applied research helps solve human problems. Creative endeavors inspire and probe our humanity. RISCA helps keep our curricula relevant. We involve students so that they learn cutting-edge skills. Despite the bleak budget of the past 3 years, CSULB, unlike many sister campuses, maintained a sizable investment, about $600,000 per year, in RISCA. Although substantial, this was only about 2/3 of the highest amount we had ever committed. I am pleased to announce that this year we are returning to the campus high water mark, bringing the annual campus investment to $1 million. We believe the Chancellor's Office is going to weigh in with a little funding too, but we don't have final word on that. We will also once again provide incentives for faculty to prepare proposals for external funding, including multidisciplinary grant. These incentives were very successful last year. We can be proud of faculty achievements in external funding. Social work has received over $6.25 million for professional education in child welfare and mental health services, with almost half of that money going directly to students. The Center for Latino Community Health Evaluation and Leadership Training has received $3.75 million to create a culturally relevant intervention to improve community nutrition. The College of Education received over $1 million to prepare school psychologists. The College of Engineering received $1 million to establish an endowed professorship in civil construction. The National Institutes of Health had provided almost $400,000 to develop and test an HIV intervention. The National Science Foundation and the American Physical Society provided $287,000 to increase physics teachers, and the College of Education, Natural Sciences, and Math received $650,000 to promote STEM teacher preparation from Bechtel. These are just a few of the examples of scholarly projects supported by the $20 million awarded to our faculty last year. And our students tell us that participating in externally funded experiences add value to their degrees. Here's a few quotes. I learned more in this position in my first than in my first 4.5 years as a college student. I would highly recommend any student to become a research assistant. It will change your life. Research was by far the best academic experience of my life. I learned more doing field research than I have in 1.5 years in the classroom. I learned more in 1 month about theory and application than in my entire undergraduate career to date. Active learning really works, folks. Please join me in a round of applause for these accomplishments in external grants and contracts, and for many others I have not had time to mention. Again, our annual report will have a much longer listing. Now, a few issues that we will face in the coming year. New admissions. This year we successfully implemented a new admissions plan linking academic preparation with majors. Like everything we do, this change was aimed at boosting student success, and it's being emulated by other CSUs. I was interviewed by another provost just the other day. Thanks to AVP Tom Enders for amazing amount of hard work to make this successful. Yes, thank you, Tom. This new admission scheme increases the control that we have over our future, but with that control comes additional responsibility. So for this reason, we're going to be giving added thought and having added discussions about our process for setting enrollment goals as we move into the year. Performance funding. AB 94 was signed into law this year, and that requires the CSU to report on performance measures, including transfer and low-income enrollments, 4- and 6-year graduation rates, and degrees awarded. And we expect the governor next year to link the CSU budget to performance measures. Fortunately, CSULB has long been working on improving these metrics. Our efforts to support students, in addition to being the right thing to do, are very much in our institutional interest in this new performance funding environment. Technology. Dan's already stolen most of my thunder here. Last year we built a very high technology classroom that has proven extremely popular. We will open 3 additional this fall and many more next year as part of the LA 234 project. Dan mentioned that our faculty created 25 classes this summer, and we're doing a lot of things with administrative uses of technology like the e-advising that Dan mentioned. Some faculty have found that blended instruction with face-to-face and online components are very effective. And we have had some wonderful workshops in that area recently. This year, with resources from our Augmented Student Excellence Fee, we will be investing significantly more in these high-tech environments to enhance student learning at CSULB. So this will be a big push this year, as Dan has said. Globalism. Every college graduate needs a global perspective to be well educated. This past year, 710 CSULB students studied abroad in Cambodia, China, Costa Rica, England, France, Germany, Greece, Ireland, Italy, Japan, New Zealand, Scotland, South Africa, Taiwan, Tanzania, Vietnam, and more. How was that? Students are always broadened and often profoundly affected by these experiences. Our continuing efforts to infuse a global perspective into our curriculum, and we've been doing this for years now, have well positioned us to prepare our students for their increasingly global future. U.S. young people are now competing in a global market. President Obama has called for increased college graduates to keep the U.S. competitive in the global economy. The U.S., I'll give you a perspective on this that would not occur to someone living east of the Mississippi. The U.S. cannot successfully increase college graduates without California. California cannot succeed without the CSU. The CSU cannot succeed without Long Beach. This means that Long Beach, that CSULB, is at ground zero in the national strategy to maintain, you may think I'm not really exaggerating here, to maintain and increase U.S. competitiveness in the global economy. And as you have heard, we have made strong gains in this area. However, supporting students all the way to completion will remain at the top of our agenda. Our efforts will be bolstered by the $1.6 million that we won this summer in that competitive process that will support redesigning some gateway classes and the electronic advising and the like. It will also launch a new program aimed at diversifying student involvement in research with faculty. I have been deeply involved in our student success efforts, and I learned some years ago, while helping to lead a national study in this area, that there's a simple litmus test for a campus. You use the shoe leather technology that Dan alluded to. You walk around the campus and you ask everyone you meet, whose job is student success? If the answer that you get back is mine and everyone's, then you have found a campus committed to supporting students. I am deeply grateful to the deans, department chairs, faculty, and staff members who make student success a priority each day. Let me applaud you. Now, the higher education landscape is changing. Korea now has the highest college completion rates in the world. China is building new institutions seemingly overnight. The European Bologna process is standardizing degree qualifications across borders. Australian universities are reviewing academic programs based on graduate success in the job market. In the U.S., for-profit institutions are growing rapidly. Online courses are proliferating. Students continue to diversify while tuition and loan debt skyrocket, although loan debt not here. Competition for state funding among higher education, pensions, and health care will grow more acute as baby boomers retire. These are just a few of the powerful forces in our foreseeable future. We need a new generation of academic leaders prepared to deal with these. I am pleased to announce that President Parr and I will partner this fall to launch a Higher Education Leadership Academy. Dr. Karen Nakai, Executive Assistant to the President, has led an enthusiastic group in planning this program. Dan O'Connor, our Senate Chair, will co-facilitate. A group of now and future leaders will study the big issues of higher education as well as the pragmatic skills of leadership, interning with senior campus leaders, and then leading specific projects in support of our campus goals. We're excited to cultivate a much-needed new generation of leaders. If you're an experienced faculty member, department chair, or associate dean with a strong interest in applying, consider the announcement that will come out very soon. So as we move into the coming year, we have some welcome budget stability. We have resources to invest more in faculty, students, and infrastructure. We can be proud that we continue to be a diverse, student-centered, globally engaged public university offering high-value education. I think those things were abundantly evident in the remarks that I have made. We can take pride in the fact that what we do really matters. We really are changing lives for a changing world. I told the new faculty earlier this week that Long Beach is a very special campus, and I truly believe that. It is special because thousands of people have worked to make it the best it can be. It is special because we prize our diversity. We cultivate an atmosphere of respect and civility. It is special because we support our students who trust us to offer them and support them in a high-value education. I am honored to serve as provost because CSULB is a great and special public university. I thank you for all you do to contribute to the very special nature of the beach. Thank you. And now, once again, I'm delighted to introduce Don Parra, our principled, thoughtful, and effective leader.
I don't know. Dave's talking about more money for faculty, scholar, and creative activity, more faculty positions, improved budgets. He's a way better provost than the last guy. Greetings again. I thank you for being with us here today as we begin this new and exciting academic year. Each year, as I hear the list of accomplishments and recognitions that have earned and been achieved by our faculty, staff, and students, and this is only a partial list, as you know, I am amazed and impressed. And we are well on our way for the next year because, as you've heard, Princeton Review has already named us again as a Best in the West university. Of special importance to us is that a heavily weighted factor in these rankings comes from very positive input from our current and former students. Our students are telling Princeton Review that they are getting or have gotten an excellent education. I am very honored to serve and have this opportunity to serve as interim president. Our CSU Chancellor, Tim White, is proving to be an outstanding leader. When Chancellor White offered me the opportunity to serve as interim president, he stated that he wanted a leader, not a manager, and that he expected the campus to continue to move forward. As you have heard amply demonstrated from the previous three speakers, we are going to move forward. I assured him, and I assure you, that despite our challenges, the forward motion at CSULB will not diminish. We will continue to achieve, excel, and do remarkable things. Our mission, our academic purpose, our prime goal will continue to be student success. Graduating students with high-quality degrees is ingrained in our DNA. National issues. A few recent national issues impacting higher education in our nation's capital include student financial aid. There is good news and bad news. In short, the good news is that there is stability in the program. The interest rates will not double from last year, as many feared, and the current bill has no expiration date. Previously, the norm was a series of tweaks and temporary agreements to extend or reauthorize the adjustments, which came after considerable political turmoil. This is considered a long-term fix. In the new bill, interest rates are market-based and tied to the federal government's cost of borrowing money. The bad news is that market-based interest rates are not static. As the economy improves, the rates will rise. I hasten to point out that while this agreement is welcome news, it does nothing about the larger national issues of mounting student debt. Nationally, the collective student debt is greater than our collective credit card debt. While this is a significant national issue, as you've already heard, CSU is not part of the problem. Our student debt is the lowest in the nation. For that, we can be very proud. We do provide a high-quality, low-cost education. And having said that, our students, as you have heard, continue to weigh heavily and rely heavily on Pell Grants. As you have also heard mentioned earlier, the debt being incurred by students in private universities and for-profits continues to mount. We know that if we miss a student in high school, the chances of that student ever obtaining a BA are very small. In our country, 85% of the students who graduate from high school in the top third of their high school class get a BA degree. Of the other 2/3, only 8% get a BA degree. Among the many issues facing our country, entitlements is among the biggest. The nation cannot survive without a reform of entitlements. We are well aware that this is a politically charged issue, but fully 2/3 of the federal budget is tied to entitlements. If a greater and greater share of the federal budget is tied to entitlements, the amount of funding for education and other programs will continue to diminish. Funding for all public higher education, K through 12 through higher education, is a public policy issue of the greatest importance. In my positions here, I've had the good fortune to meet international leaders from all over the world. Whether they are civic leaders, education leaders, or business leaders, it is clear that their countries identify education as the highest priority. They understand that a country's level of education is directly related to its standard of living. Knowledge is a country's most important resource. The defunding of public higher education is a national issue of the highest priority. In any reason, I'll talk a little bit about the state. In any reasonable business model, a business that lost over 30% of its revenue in just a few years would fail. In 2007-8, the state provided $2.97 billion in state support to the CSU. In 2011-12, that number was $2.0 billion. The CSU lost over 30% of its revenue, but did not fail. While some of the loss was filled by increases in student tuition and fees, our reality is in the last 5 years, we've operated in survival mode. But we must do more than survive. Survival is not a good business strategy, and survival is not a goal. As you heard earlier, this year's budget provides a modest 5% increase in funding for the CSU for 2013-14. The CSU funding for this year is $2.3 billion. This increase does not fully restore the substantial loss of state appropriations that we received over the past several years. With the approval of Proposition 30, the budget outlook places us on stable footing for the first time in 5 years with positive expectations for the future. As we know, CSULB is both enthusiastic about these and well-positioned to meet this challenge since we have been working on improving student success, retention, and graduation rates for many years. And we will continue to link these rates with a high-quality educational experience and a high-quality degree. Time to degree and program quality are complementary, not mutually exclusive. For the first time in California, DREAM Act students, our AB 540 students, are eligible to receive Cal Grants from the state. On our campus, this means that 130 students will receive Cal Grant aid totaling over $600,000, and 285 additional students will qualify for more than $1.5 million in state university grants. Also, as part of the last budget, the Middle Class Scholarship Program, the Perez Bill, was approved as part of the current budget. It will begin to direct funding to middle-class families beginning in 2014-15. And speaking of our state leaders, we are very pleased to welcome in our audience today State Senator Lou Correa, who has been a long supporter of public education. Would you join me in recognizing Senator Correa? But we know that the state has challenges. According to the Public Policy Institute of California, California is the only state in the country where 25 to 30-year-olds are less likely to have a BA than older citizens. CSULB and the CSU have been aggressive in sharing with the public our data. Anyone who wishes to go online can go online and learn a great deal about our successes and challenges based on real-life, real-time data. Having said that, it is also clear that the CSU and CSULB must do a better job of telling our story. We need to continue our work together with our partnerships in K-12 schools and community colleges, industries, businesses, chambers of commerce, Rotary clubs, and other public and private entities to spread the realities of the dramatic impact education has on our region, state, and beyond. And we must be accountable. We must prove how the CSU is doing more and doing it better. And then we must communicate these facts effectively with our communities, our state leaders, including our local legislators. We have a great story to tell, and our collective future depends on decisions we make now. Cost will be part of the conversation, but we must balance the conversation about cost with the benefits and dangers of not having an educated workforce and an educated citizenry. During the next year, beginning in September, the CSU Board of Trustees will begin the national search for our new president. A small group of elected campus representatives from the faculty, students, staff, administration, and the community will serve as an advisory group to the board. Presidential searches in the CSU are confidential. This means that the names of the individuals who apply and who are considered for the position are not made public. The only public announcement will be the naming of the new president, the 8th since CSULB's birthday in 1949. Speaking of that, 1949, the campus will be 65 years old next year. Do we qualify for Social Security? We're way too young for that. 65 years old for a university. We're children. We're in our teenage years. In the next few weeks also, we will begin the search for a new vice president for student services to replace Doug Robinson, who was in that role for 22 years. The search for president and the search for vice president will be coordinated so that the new president will have the opportunity to interview the finalists and make that decision. This is not a closed search. Finalists will be brought to campus as part of the selection process. Emergency preparedness. It is a sad reality that we must prepare for the possibility of disaster, be it earthquake, active shooter, or other calamity. During this year, we must continue to make significant progress in our response to emergencies. Last week, CSULB, with great cooperation from the Long Beach Fire and Police Departments, staged a drill to test our response to an active shooter. The drill was a great success. However, as fate would have it, we had a real active shooter scare on that very afternoon. Fortunately, it was a false alarm. We thank our partners in the city of Long Beach and congratulate Chief Solorzano and his team. We especially thank John Razine, our Emergency Preparedness Director, for a job well done. While the drill was a success, we learned a great deal and identified many issues that need to be worked out. We must be prepared. The central activity of a university center on the teaching and learning process, housed in the Division of Academic Affairs, but each of the 4 divisions of the university has an essential and critical role to play in student success. I am pleased to share a few of these initiatives that impact us all. From the Division of Administration and Finance, there are many projects that are going to improve our infrastructure. The renovation of buildings LA 2, 3, and 4 is moving forward. The renovation includes classrooms and offices, including the addition of smart classrooms and added digital technology. This project will greatly enhance the learning environment for our students and faculty. 3 classrooms, 2 in the College of Business Administration, are being renovated as active learning classrooms. These rooms will have digital technology, current instructional technology, and furniture which allows for easy group interaction. The Parkside Residence Hall's Commons Dining Hall is being renovated. Road improvements will make a much safer environment for both walkers and bikers. Our thanks to Vice President Mary Stevens and her team. In the Division of Student Services, the new Accessible Instructional Materials Center, AIM for short, is the result of a campus-wide collaboration. AIM will serve the entire campus community, students, faculty, and staff, and will be a one-stop shop for universal design and to integrate accessibility into the fabric of the university. In housing and residential life, 3 new residential colleges were announced: Hillside College, Parkside College, and Beachside College. We are the first university in the CSU system to implement the residential learning college model. CSULB has again been designated as a Best for Vets campus by GI Jobs for the 4th year in a row. The Men's Success Initiative, a support program for African American and Latino male students, which increases their level of engagement by building connections with faculty, staff, and other students on campus, continues to grow. ASI Communications, College Beat Productions, and the Union Weekly all won first place in their respective national competitions. University Outreach and School Relations hosted 6,000 fifth graders from the Long Beach Unified School District last year to the Long Beach College Promise. Our thanks to Vice President Marianne Takamoto and her team. From the Division of University Relations and Development, which actually ought to be called the Division of Alumni, Friend-Raising, and Fundraising. In 2012-13, University Relations and Development was able to secure the naming gifts for the planned Anna W. Nagai Alumni Center. This new gateway to the campus will be located on the southwest corner of Atherton Way and Merriam Way. We are very grateful to Anna for her support and dedication to CSULB. Last year, UR&D raised $27 million. In addition, on July 1 of 2012, the newly created CSULB 49er Foundation assumed responsibility for private gifts and endowment. This entity will focus on maximizing private support for the beach which, while allowing the CSULB Research Foundation, formerly known as the CSULB Foundation, to return to its original mission of generating and administering research grants, contracts, and non-philanthropic dollars. We are very pleased that former Mayor of Long Beach and CSULB alum Beverly O'Neill is chair of our 49er board. Over the last year, UR&D hired Terry Carbaugh, Associate Vice President for Legislative and External Relations, along with Andy Hong, Associate Vice President for University Relations and Communication. Both Terry and Andy are experienced professionals who will play key roles in communicating our mission and values to both off and on-campus communities. Our thanks to Vice President Andrea Taylor. And our deepest thanks to our alumni and friends. A university can only be as great as its friends and alumni allow it to be. I want to talk a little bit about two presidents. At CSULB, I was raised an administrator as a person on a campus led by two very different but highly effective presidents, Robert C. Maxson and F. King Alexander. Bob Maxson was president for 10 years. In addition to initiating the signature campus program, the President's Scholars, he caused this campus to believe in itself and to understand that CSULB is really a very special institution, an institution which is student-centered, but which understands that if the faculty are not successful, no one can be successful. And he also reminded us that without the staff, the whole edifice falls. It takes a village. It takes a village, and CSULB is a small city. Bob Maxson also accomplished something rather remarkable, something that few thought could be done. He branded the campus. Bob Maxson branded us as the beach. Every time he appeared in public, on or off campus, his comments always ended with his trademark, "Go Beach." "Go Beach" became our identifying sign-off. It was our public exclamation that what happens at the beach is important. Bob was so consistent in using this exclamation that I believe when he retired this evening, the dialogue between Bob and his wife went something like this: "Good night, Bob. Good night, Sylvia. Go Beach." When Bob retired from CSULB, he was followed by King Alexander. King was president for 7 years. He was a national force in public higher education as a leading expert on higher education finance and policy. He was well known in our state capital and in Washington, D.C. He was well known to the Obama administration and Obama's domestic policy group. He was invited to the White House as one of only a handful of university presidents to meet with President Obama and Education Secretary Arne Duncan. The purpose of the meeting was to ask those presidents, what's your secret? How do you provide a low-cost, high-quality education? King's impact on our mission can be summed up in two mantras: graduation begins today and among the nation's best. This was a perfect fit for our statement of purpose. We graduate students with highly valued degrees. These two presidents set us on the course that we follow today. We know we are good, we know we are a very special place, and we know that we change lives. At CSULB, student success is more than a slogan. It is central to who we are and how we work. To these leaders, we owe a great deal. You've heard much today about how Cal State Long Beach is a very special place. You've heard about things that make us proud, about our pride, and you've heard about why we love this institution. I love this institution and its mission. I love this university because of who we are, what we do, and how we do it. I love this university because CSULB matters. CSULB matters to our community, to this region, to the state, and to the nation. Why does CSULB matter? CSULB matters because we provide a low-cost, high-quality education. Our students succeed as they compete with the best in the nation for job or places in graduate school. They succeed because our students are among the best in the nation. The measure of a university is not who they take in, but it is the quality of the students who graduate and what those students achieve. CSULB matters because of our incredible students. CSULB has been blessed with great students and consistent, outstanding student leadership. When I came to this campus 25 years ago, I intended to stay a few years and then move on, wherever that was going to be. Among the things that I quickly learned was that the students on this campus were very special. I quickly became captivated by our students, their stories, and the roads they traveled to get to this point in their lives. Our students, 40% of whom are the first in their families to go to college, see an education as an opportunity, not as an entitlement. CSULB matters because we have over 280,000 alumni, and last year we graduated over 8,600 students, among the largest graduating classes in the nation. Last year we graduated almost 600 engineers, 300 nurses, 220 social workers, 430 mathematicians and scientists, 800 students in the arts, 850 students in business, 600 educators, and over 2,300 students in the liberal arts. That has societal impact. CSULB matters because we received more than 82,000 applications for admission for this semester, fall 2013. We will welcome 8,900 new students to our campus beginning on Monday. Included are a growing number of international students whose presence makes our campus environment richer. CSULB matters because of who we are as a community. CSULB is both a Hispanic-serving institution and an Asian and Pacific Islander-serving institution, one of only a handful of universities in the country that can make that claim. 40% of our students are Pell eligible. We also know that Kiplinger's has rated Cal State Long Beach as one of the 100 best values in public higher education. We know that we are in the top 10 in bachelor's degrees awarded to minority students. We know that we are among the top 10 in the country awarding degrees to Latino students. CSULB matters because our female students set the pace. 58% of our students are women, and at graduation the number is almost 70%. This dramatic increase in women graduating from college is among the greatest success stories of public higher education in the last 30 years. CSULB matters because half of our students graduate with no loan debt, and the average debt for our students is $13,000, the lowest in the country. CSULB matters because of the impact we have on the community. Last year, as you've heard, our students gave over 80,000 hours in community service. CSULB matters because we have the premier President's Scholars Program in the state, which will celebrate its 20th anniversary next year. CSULB matters because of the Long Beach Promise. Working with our good friends Chris Steinhauser, Superintendent of the Long Beach Unified School District, and Eloy Ortiz-Oakley, Superintendent and President of Long Beach City College, King Alexander took our partnership with the Long Beach Unified School District and Long Beach City College and created a signature program, the Long Beach Promise. The Promise, which guarantees priority admission to CSULB to local students who meet admission standards, has been nationally recognized and is being emulated across the state and nation. At least other people are trying to emulate it across the state and nation. Our commitment to the Long Beach Promise will not waver. CSULB matters because of our talented and dedicated faculty. Without effective teaching and learning, without the classroom experience, why are we here? CSULB matters because of the outstanding research and creative activity of our faculty, of which you heard a short list of their amazing accomplishments earlier. Without our faculty being successful, we cannot continue to claim that we offer high-quality degrees. CSULB matters because of our faculty's dedication to engage undergraduate and graduate students in their research and activity. Faculty and student partnership in research and creative activity are an essential element of what makes this a very special and unique institution. CSULB matters because of our outstanding and dedicated staff. Without the staff, we're all in trouble. CSULB matters because we understand that if a student's education does not beyond the classroom, their education is incomplete. And you know, you've heard a lot of accolades and rankings that we've had, but we excel on this campus in some very little known areas. Did you know that our bass fishing team is ranked 6th in the nation? CSULB matters because we honor shared governance, we honor the collective bargaining process in our unions. And in the big decisions, and small, everyone, students, staff, and faculty have a seat at the table. CSULB matters because we have a history, a proud reputation of dealing with adversity in a civil, productive, and professional manner. CSULB matters because of our intercollegiate athletics program. As is the reality with other entities on campus, athletics has been negatively impacted by our budget realities. Despite this, CSULB has won the Big West Commissioner's Cup 4 of the last 5 years. The Commissioner's Cup is awarded in recognition of the most success in team sports. Even more impressive is that every one of our teams has surpassed the minimum academic performance rate, the APR, one of only 2 schools in California to achieve this distinction. These are truly student athletes. Athletics, like other enterprises on campus, operates on a level of financial support for our athletic teams and programs that is unsustainable. We need to continue to support this program and all the others on campus. CSULB matters because it is an institution with a passion for knowledge. This drive to discover and to create shapes and energizes us. This passion, this energy to grow and learn becomes apparent in our classrooms, studios, labs, and beyond the campus. This passion for discovery is what drives our faculty and students to engage and excel and to share with the broader community. You have heard that we say that we are a teaching-intensive research and creative activity university. We are also a discovery-driven university. Before I close and offer a few more comments, I want to go through a list of thank yous. And I know that I'm going to miss some people, and I'm not going to comment on any of them, but these are people who make my life so much easier and better, and who serve all of us in this campus so well. Some of these folks you have heard mentioned previously today. Vice Presidents Dowell, Stevens, Takamoto, and Taylor. Lynn Mahoney, Cecile Lindsay, Holly Harbinger, Elizabeth Martin, Terry Carbaugh, Rick Glody, Marianne Hatta, Roman Cochin, Jeet Joshi, Tom Enders, Jeff Klaus, Manuel Perez, Kevin Crow, Michael Esquadro, Janet Foster, David Salazar, Scott Appel, all of our deans and associate deans, and all of our department chairs. Thank you all for adding so much to our campus. I also want to thank the amazing people that I work with every day in the office, Colleen Followell, Liz Labrador, and the amazing Karen Nakai. CSULB has a clear sense of mission, student success. We make decisions based on data and information, not on anecdote. We are results-oriented. We push ahead and move forward because we are proud of who we are and what we have accomplished. We have an essential purpose because what we do matters, and what we do matters well beyond the 321 acres of this campus. We care. We care about this campus and its people. We care about our students. We care about the future of our region. We care about our state, nation, and the world. We know that our current budget realities, though stable, are unsustainable. We know that we are being scrutinized ever more closely by the governor and legislature, who want to hold the line on costs without acknowledging that this is exactly what we do, and we do it better than almost anyone else in the country. The CSU and CSULB are among the most affordable in the country. We must more effectively communicate the value of this education, K through EDD, to the decision makers in Washington and Sacramento. My job, our job, is to protect and nurture the future of this institution. We must continue to make the decisions that will put CSULB in the best position to continue to succeed. We must continue to make the hard decisions to protect our future. We will make those decisions in the process that has been so successful for this campus, transparent, collaborative, and inclusive. We will use data, not anecdote, and we will consult. Then we will let the best ideas win. We will continue to innovate. We will continue to try new things. Most of those things will be successful. Some of them will fail. If we don't fail sometimes, then we know we haven't pushed hard enough. The history of this campus is that no important decision is made behind closed doors. No important decisions are made by one leader, one person, or a small group of people. CSULB matters because of its people. CSULB matters because we transform lives. 280,000 alumni are our legacy. I leave you with a Quaker saying, "Let your life speak." I know that I am a better person I know that I am a better person for having been molded, touched, and formed by the people of Cal State Long Beach. I thank you for your kind attention. Go Beach!
In closing, I want to thank you for answering the question with student success is my job and everybody's job on this campus. Have a great year.